Good morning. So I'm excited to start day 2 of training. This is the advanced training. How are you doing this morning?
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
Good.
So yesterday we covered a lot. We covered how to publish to social. We went through some of the reports and went through how to start your Sociamonials account up and get it set up the way you want for your organization. And now we can get into the more advanced things. This is where things start getting really fun, because here's how you integrate social into your business, into your website, into your team. So
Awesome.
first thing we're going to do is go through share buttons, and then we're going to move on to campaigns and get into some of the more advanced features within campaigns. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about how to run a photo or video contest or sweepstakes and manage that. But what I want to do first is just give you an overview of this part of it. I mean, Sociamonials is really about driving more referrals to your websites and your other assets, and also engaging your existing audience. The campaigns are great at doing both. Share buttons is the first thing I want to show you, which is really all about driving traffic. So it's always nice to keep the business objectives in mind when you're looking at a tool. So let's focus on referrals for now, and I'm going to jump into share buttons. The overview screen you see here, and this is our test account, so there's a lot of garbage in here, but you can get the idea. We've got the button image that you're using for your button, the name of the share button, and the link that you're sharing, as well as the number of shares. And from here, you can edit an existing button or create a new one. We're going to create a new button. So let's call this Test 6. And let's use our account from yesterday, Guayaki. It's very similar to what you saw on the Publish feature. It's going to go out to that website and pull back all the images on the page. So from here, I can edit this. Normal share buttons, what they're going to do is, at the time that it's shared, it's just going to go and grab whatever it can off the page. But this gives you a chance to go in and tailor it. You might not have all of the meta tags just the way you want, the meta description and title and things.
Okay.
So now you can go in and just make changes. So you could change that. The link subtitle, if you leave it alone, what this does is, with Facebook, it's normally just going to drop in whatever the shortened link is that Sociamonials creates for you, but you can override that and type something here. And the link description. If you want to, you can shorten this up or make changes. So once you like that, you can go through your images. Maybe you want a different image to appear. So you can switch images, and you've got the same options as you had on the publisher. And that perfects your Facebook and LinkedIn share. Down here you have Twitter. So you have, there's really not much you can do with Twitter because there's no real image attachments. It's just going to tweet whatever they say. Now on the button image side, you can choose from one of our existing buttons, or you can upload your own. And note that you can disable email sharing. In most cases, you won't want to do that. You would only want to do that if you already have an email share button that's separate from this button on that page. So to upload a button, you would just click your button and then go into your asset library. If you don't already have a button you want to use, you can add it to your library. And this just saves time. You can add the same one over and over, and it will always default to the last button you uploaded, just to keep things simple. You will also need to set an image height for your custom button, so you can put those in at different sizes, and it will automatically scale the width. Share counter is just the way it sounds. You can add a share counter. You can also attach a video. And what's unique about this is these videos will play in the newsfeed. So you might have a page that has 4 different share buttons. Now with a normal share button, if you put 4 of them on there, it's going to just share the URL that the button is on. With our share buttons, you can tailor exactly what link gets shared. So you can have 4 different links shared on a page. So if you have maybe 2 videos, a white paper and an article on one page, you could actually share those two videos and put a button under each one. And for that, you'd want to put an external video location, and best practices are located behind the question mark here, like a YouTube video. And it will actually share that video and make it playable within the news feeds.
Okay.
You can add a default customer comment. So when the share button loads, it would actually insert this text already in there. So all they need to do is click the button. Use this sparingly. It's usually not necessary, but it does save people time if that's what you want to do. So add a coupon or white paper link after customer comment. What this does is, in the share area, like we're not talking about, this is the attachment, but when somebody shares something, as you know, that there's going to be text above it in the news feed. Whatever comments they add, it will actually add text to that comment. So you'll also want to use this sparingly, but if you have a really great free trial offer, for example, you could add a link to that free trial offer and say, try it free. So if somebody's sharing your free trial page or anything about your company, you could add a free trial link. So it drives a call to action to the audience.
For the default customer comment, use sparingly, yes, but if used when they are posting that, say they don't want it to be I recommend, I wanted to say, like, I highly appreciate the work option plus homes incorporated has used. If I put I recommend in there because that's what I want, but the individual sharing it doesn't want that text, can they still alter it when they're sharing it?
Yes, they can.
Okay.
It just drops it in there as the default, and they can just edit the text as they want.
Okay.
And of course, you can edit this text too. So I'm going to deselect this, and let's move on and create this button. At this point, you can just save and deploy. We need to select an image. I'm just going to choose the default for now.
Okay.
And let's save this. So here's what we get with the Sociamonial share buttons. You have a lot of options on how to use these buttons. So let's use an example. If you have a brand new white paper that comes out, what you would want to do for sharing that white paper is the landing page where you capture people's information to download that. You would want to take this code. And what this does is allow the button to just kind of grow out of the button itself. It doesn't even open a new window, and allows them to complete the share right there on the page. So use this script to do that. With emails, they don't allow JavaScript, so you would need to use this for an email. And all this is just straight HTML. It's just going to put a button there with the link to the full share page. So that kind of gets them off the email and into a custom share page. And I'll show you that page in just a moment. Add a share link to your white papers, direct mail, and signage. So what this is, we automatically shorten the link after we add all of your tracking code. Remember yesterday from the account preferences? So it adds the whatever third-party analytics integration to the shared link, then it shortens it up and gives you this nice, neat, and tidy link. So I recommend putting this on the footer of every page of your white papers. That way people can just type it in using their mobile phone or their computer and share how cool your white paper is. There's also a QR code generated if you want to use that for direct mail or something. So what I'm going to do now is let's just quickly go in and look at what this looks like. So I'm going to go to the share page. So notice how it automatically pops this in, and of course I can edit that. And one nice thing is it shows the default share, so people can get an idea of what they're going to be sharing. And they can share to all the different networks without having to retype their message, which is a huge time saver. And another feature is when they close this, it's going to take them to that page. So you're kind of encouraging that one last bit of engagement before you lose them.
Yeah.
Any questions on share buttons?
No, that's awesome.
Okay. I guess one last thing I want to show you is if you have a lot of these to make, you can highlight this and click copy, and it just makes it simple. I mean, it'll pull up the share button that you created all you have to do is change the name and the link, and you can save it. So you can create a
Okay.
huge number of these in a very short period of time.
Okay.
So I'm
Awesome.
excited to show you the campaigns area, because this is really where the software shines. It's difficult to engage an audience and really stand out in social, and so to create interactive social campaigns is just essential in today's business environment. So we've created a whole suite of campaigns that you can create, and I want to go through creating one of those now. To give you an idea of what the campaign overview grid is about, this is basically at a glance. You're looking at all the different campaigns, test campaigns that I've created. You've got the type of campaign, the display group, which we will go over later, that this belongs to, the series that this campaign belongs to, and one campaign can belong to multiple series, and we'll go over that later, and the number of views the campaign has had. So now I'm going to jump in and create a campaign. Let's start by creating a photo contest. So there are two groups of campaign types. One has the goal of driving referrals to your website. The other group has the goal of engaging your existing audience or growing your audience. So the big difference here is think in terms of where do you want the destination to be? When you've got all these people sharing, what are they sharing? Are they sharing a link back to the campaign, trying to encourage their friends to participate as well and engage? Or do you want them sharing a link that takes them to your store or something that's going to generate revenue? That would be a referral campaign versus the engagement, which takes them back to yours. So to briefly go through the different types of referral campaigns, you can create video, testimonial campaigns, and customer stories. The three different media types that you'll hear me talk about are video, text, and photo. It'll manage all of those different user-generated content types. So you can use them in combination as well. So we have some preset ones. That's really what this is. The functionality is fairly similar on a lot of these campaigns, but we just have some defaults put together to get you started. The referral sweepstakes is very popular. This will get you a lot of new emails that you're collecting, and it'll also generate a lot of referrals to whatever it is you want to promote. And video contests are popular. Photo contests are very popular. The photo sharing and video sharing, these are galleries that you can place on your Facebook fan page. And let me take a moment here to tell you all the different places you can put a campaign. Once you create any of our campaigns, you can put these on your Facebook page. It takes just about 5 seconds to do that, and I'll show you how. You can put it on your website, either as a separate page that you iframe in with your custom header. You can have it embedded within a very small iframe, as small as maybe 250 pixels wide. Excuse me. You can have these as a button on your web page that dynamically appears and disappears based on if they've shared or whatever you have the settings set to. So you're targeting your audience. You can have these as a standalone microsite that is accessible by a mobile phone. It will completely respond to the mobile viewport and shrink up and look just perfect on any mobile device, as well as on a PC. It will expand and look great on a PC as well, or a Mac. So those are the main ways that people deploy these campaigns. So I'm going to jump in and create a photo contest.
I may be getting ahead of myself, but for legal reasons, you get to have the option of putting a disclaimer of where you will be utilizing these images and videos if they enter the contest or sharing?
Yes, there's a custom rules link and disclaimer link that you can use. We also have a mandatory checkbox that, the basic things like I'm over the age of 13. I authorize both Sociamonials and your organization, Acme Corp, to I authorize you to use my photo or video if that's what they're submitting. So yes, we do help cover you in that regard.
Okay, perfect.
Before I continue, these are pretty important in today's business climate. Everybody is into
Yeah.
content marketing, and I just want to point these out, like sign-up campaigns and download campaigns. If you have that great white paper like we were talking about, you can create really
Mhm.
beautiful download pages where you can create custom forms, have follow-up with social and email, all managed through your Sociamonials account. So you'll want to check out the sign-up and download for things like your email newsletter sign-up. Now, the photo
Okay.
contest is selected, so the reason I'm choosing this one is photo contests get a little more involved. There's a lot of settings. So let's create a
Okay.
test photo, cont 5. So there's a couple options here. You can have a contest where you do not display the photos, at least initially, and all you're doing is collecting. I don't recommend that, but you can deselect the display, and all it will do is collect. You can deselect the collect, which you would only want to do after your contest is done. So once all entries are in and the winner is announced, our system will automatically remove the ability to submit. But if you deselect
Okay.
this at that time, all you're going to see is all the photos that were submitted and the header. So it's good to have these options here. Only allow one photo or allow to two. You can allow the person to submit one only or up to two, and it will give them a chance to put a subtitle under each one of the photos that they submit.
Okay.
This is kind of what you were talking about. The link text, you can say
Yeah.
contest rules. Notice over here that it's changed to text. So what you're seeing
Okay.
on the
Yeah.
right is the preview of what your image or what the contest would look like if it were embedded into a page of your website. And we'll go into how to edit the way this appears and view how it looks on a full screen shortly. So right now we're just setting up all of the settings, and then we jump into the edit mode next. So there's two different ways to have a disclaimer link. A popular one is to just do this. You can paste a whole bunch of rules here, and it will create its own page for you that we host. And when they click on this, it'll just have a pop-up with all of your formatted text there. Or you can have a link to a page on your website for all of that. The
Okay.
submission form, we have some default submission forms, or what you can do is create a new one. So let's create a new submission form for your organization. You can come up with a name. And let's not overwrite the default. So it's going to include the most common fields here, but you can add additional fields. Like you might want to know their job title. So let's drag this over above the email
Oh, okay.
opt-in. That's all you need to do.
Awesome.
You can make it required or not required. There's a number of different, these are existing fields in the database. So it's better not to create a whole new field in the database unless it's not in this list and you really need it. So we've taken links to, the things that 95% of the companies use, they're already in here. So, and there are some custom fields in here. Not all of these will be on your account. These are things that I've created. But to create one that doesn't already exist in that list of fields, you have all these different types that you can add. So you could even add like a star rating for this particular campaign. You wouldn't want to do this in a photo contest. But you have some different options here, like you can change how the star looks. You can make it a smiley face so they would rate you,
Oh, fun.
just to capture information and create really cool surveys, social surveys.
Yeah.
You would want to do that on something like a sign-up form or a different type of campaign. You can add a caption. You can add hidden fields, so you're capturing parameters. Like if somebody's clicking through from an email, you can add a parameter that captures whatever information in your database about that user on the back end. So maybe a source, so you know that, okay, that user submitted this because they saw my Facebook promoted post, for example.
Okay.
Just to capture additional information. And when you're done with that, you would just click Save, but you can preview it as well. I'm not going to save this one. No offense. Sorry, Laura's fault.
No.
So list integration. Integrations we didn't really talk about yesterday, but if you have one of a number of email service providers or let's say you have Infusionsoft or Salesforce, CRM. We already have built-in integrations for most of those. So you would just want to go into your integration section and configure those first. And once you do that, you'll have the option to just select which integration that you have configured and then select the list. It will automatically go out to your account and figure out all the lists that you have available, and you can pick one. That way, when somebody submits the form, not only will it be in your Sociamonials account, but it will also be waiting in your MailChimp account. Email notifications. These are kind of a big deal, so you'll want to spend some time learning all the different email notifications. There are some trigger points within a campaign, especially things like photo contests that are really important. When somebody submits a form, you want to give them something. Even though voting doesn't start for 2 weeks, you still want to send them something and encourage them to share. So what this is upon form submission, send them a thank you. So we have built-in default emails, but you can also create new ones and store those in Sociamonials. So you can just very quickly add them at a future date to your future contests. So here's the email editor. You can create HTML emails here and add personalization. Even the subject line, like you might want to say thank you, John, for contest form submission. Down below, you can switch to HTML view if you prefer to work in HTML, and you can add personalization within this view as well. And there's you can add images, you can add links, you can really personalize it. And just remember yesterday, what I recommended was within account preferences, if you have that default HTML template set up in there, look at how easy this becomes. All you need to say is, hello, John, thanks for your form submission, and whatever you want to say, and thanks. And it's automatically going to add your footer, it's going to add your header, and it's going to format everything. Otherwise, I would need to go in and I would need to add your brand, probably put your logo at the top, add your unsubscribe link to the bottom, and different things. So I really encourage you to go in and make that one-time change, so it makes this process extremely easy.
Yeah.
You can send a test to yourself, and you can actually add an email address from the database to see how it will look when it's personalized, but that's optional. You would enter the email address here and then send it to yourself.
Okay.
You can preview the emails, save it, and then close. So we're going to close. Unless you have any questions about the emails?
No.
Okay. I guess one thing I'd want to show you is you can attach a file, and this is really important when you get into content marketing. You can attach that great new white paper PDF to the email it's delivered once they submit the form.
Do you have a size requirement on the attachment?
No limit.
Okay.
There's another option. You can have it send your internal team an email once somebody submits the form, and you would just specify which email address that goes to. Upon approval of submission, it will send them a congratulations email, and this is where you would highly encourage them to share. So here you would probably choose your form submission thank you, or since this is a photo contest, here's the default one is pretty good. You might just want to add some personalization, whatever the voice of your company is. But basically, it gives you a link in order to share this with friends. And those types of personalizations are found in here. Like you can insert the name of the campaign just so it feels more natural, like natural voice. You can say, thank you for submitting to the campaign name campaign, and it will insert the name of your campaign. Link to submission, that's all this is right here. And it will create a link to their submission, not just the campaign, but it will pull their submission up to the top so they can share it quickly. And the date they submitted it. If you want to use that, you can as well.
Right.
Upon voting, what this is once voting opens, then it will encourage them to share again if you want to use this feature. So it will, the default template would say something like, voting is open, please share again with your friends. And that's automatically sent out. Now the contest options, you might have something that starts in 2 weeks, That's when you allow people to start submitting entries. You would want
Mhm.
to deselect start immediately in that case, and then select a date and time. Most cases they start immediately. So deadline to submit entry. There are a couple dates with these contests, and these are the two that you would specify here. So the deadline to submit
Okay.
entry is, basically you have a start date, and you have a span of 1 or 2 months where people can submit their photos. And at the termination of that, which is this date here, at that point it's going to completely remove the ability to submit. It's going to take away the submission button. And at that point, all the calls to action will be, vote below. You have, 29 days, 3 hours, and 6 minutes to vote, and that deadline is here. And at the end of this campaign period, it's going to say voting is closed. We're tallying the votes. Depending on your settings, that's where you would go through and select a winner. So I'm
Okay.
going to enter a couple of arbitrary dates here. Just click on the date and time you want. A lot of people end these at midnight, so you might want to, make it midnight on whatever day it is,
Mhm.
just so you can be very clear in your contest rules.
Mhm.
There's two different ways to select a winner. You can have the system automatically select a winner. So most of our photo contests
Oh,
and
nice.
video contests are based on likes. So it's whichever gets the most likes wins. And the reason people do that is that's really your goal, right? It's all about social discovery. You want people
Mhm.
to find out about your company. And we get an insane amount of referred visits on these campaigns. I mean, even very small companies with very tiny social followings will have upwards of 35,000 shared visits to their website or the
Okay.
contest based on these referrals. So I encourage you to use or votes as your means of declaring a winner. So you can also
Okay.
manually select it. This is what I recommend, to be honest with you. Even if it's based on likes, you still might want to choose this just in case, especially for your first couple. You just want to monitor things and make sure everything looks okay before you declare that winner. Voting frequency. You can allow people to vote once per campaign or once every day. I recommend once a day or once per week because you want people to come back to the campaign and vote. This would be like the friends of the people who submit. They can come back like every day. And what this does is it encourages the entrant to go back out to social very frequently saying, hey, go vote again. I'm getting close to being the winner. Please go vote again. Any questions so far?
Okay. No.
Okay. So duplicate vote blocking, in most cases, you're just going to leave it standard. And what this is there are bots out there that can ruin a contest because they can kind of repeatedly vote on a certain entry. And there's several types out there. We have programmed around almost all of them. So this usually isn't going to happen. We have very strict measures in place. But if you have a really bad violator, you can always remove their IP address from the entire campaign. And I'll show you how to do that when we manage these. But
Okay.
the problem with restricting IP address is you might have, especially for a business-to-business company, you might have 5 people on the same IP address because they're sitting right next to each other. So what this does
Mhm.
is if it would only accept one of their votes, the other 4 it wouldn't because they're on the same IP address. It wouldn't allow any
Okay.
duplicate votes. Vote counter, you can hide the vote counts or display them or wait until the voting ends and then hide vote counts. I like this one because it ends kind of the speculation after the voting ends. You don't want people to see that, okay, this person has twice as many votes as everybody else, so I'm not going to bother coming back to see who won. This kind of heightens the anticipation. So this is a good option right
Yeah.
here.
Okay.
So now that we have our settings, I'm going to launch the editor, and this is the most powerful part of the program. There's 2 different ways you can edit the appearance. One is custom CSS, and I actually do not recommend this. because our editor has become so advanced that it's not really necessary. You can store different CSS templates, but if you really have just mad CSS skills, you can go in there and really custom every single aspect and go nuts. Another nice thing about the custom CSS, though, is you can, as you can see, there's just a lot of code in here that you can tweak every little aspect. But one thing you can use this for, even if you use our editor, you can find elements like the header text. You can copy this and paste it into our other custom editor and make tweaks there as well. And I'll show you that when we get to it.
Okay.
So I am going to deselect custom CSS and launch our editor. So this is a preview on the right-hand side of what the contest would look like. Gives you an example of what the award would look like.
Oh, cool.
So you're seeing a full page view. You can also preview the mobile view and the widget view. So here's what it would look like if it was embedded as an iframe. Furthermore, you can see the different screens of the campaign. So this is the home screen. This is what people see when they first enter the page. This is the entry screen. This is what they see when it's time for them to submit a photo. And this is the thank you screen. So after they submit their photo, this is what they'll see.
Oh, cool.
So you could spend probably hours going through all of these. So I want to kind of touch on some of the highlights. To understand how to edit these campaigns, it's good to break things down into sections. This top part right here, this is what we call the call to action area, because it's your banner. It's got the main button on, okay, it's time to submit your photo. So we call this the call to action area. Down below, this is called the content area, including this header right here.
Okay.
And there's also a shell. What the shell is basically, see where this shaded line is? From this area in, that's all the shell. So the content area and call to action area kind of sit on top of the shell. So that's why you see content area, shell. It's called the header area. Sorry, we don't call it the call to action area anymore. So this area up here would be your header, and it includes the button. So we're going to start with the page, and what we mean by the page is everything on the page, including the stuff that's kind of on the outside of the shell and behind the shell. So behind the shell, you can have no image at all. You can have a full screen background, or you can have an image behind the campaign area only. Watch what happens when I do this. I'm going to select a background image. So let's have this, for example, appear, and I'm going to have this one repeat because this is just an image snippet. So let's see. Well, I'm going to get a bigger image so it covers everything. So this is a more appropriate image. It's just like an image of grass, right? So now your background you can change separate from that. So I'm not a designer, but you can make the background black or something a little more appropriate. We'll do like, oh, this is even worse. I really am a bad designer. Let's stick with black. So now what we can do is change the effect of this. You can make it grayscale. You can blur the image if you want the grass to just look a little bit blurry to make the text pop. So I'm going to leave that behind the campaign area and move on to the edit header area. So the header area, you can have a couple options here. You can design a header, which is what I recommend. What that means is you can click within this and just edit it and create your own header. The nice thing about this is you can insert images. You can insert links. Like if I wanted testimonial to be linked to something else, I can. So you've got a lot more flexibility with this, and there's just a ton of different fonts that you choose from. So you can select your font and make it look really nice. You can also add a header image. If you've got a great graphics team, you might just choose to insert a header image. There are some defaults in there, but I'm sure your team has something better they can come up with. But again, there's an asset library that would store all of those, so you could use them again in the future.
Okay.
You can also, the image you upload for the background, you can make that contain the header information. So you've just got this one big image in the background. And so all this feature does is you could just say, like, okay, I've got an image in the background, so basically carve out 100 pixels up here so that can show through. You can also have no header at all. So let's leave it on design a header because that looks fine. Opacity is really cool. You can make this solid white. You can make it completely clear. If you want to spend some time finding just the right opacity. Now, the header area background color you can change as well and make this darker. So as you can see, remember I mentioned the header area kind of incorporates the button as well.
Mm-hmm.
So you can change this as well. You can change the submission call to action, which changes your button text right here. So I want to go over the content area, and let's go into the entry screen. This is where people actually submit. This is also an editable space over here. So how to enter, we have some default information, but you might want to change your submission to make it more personalized, or maybe add images. So as you can see, you've got some instructions on the left, and you've got a form on the right. What you might choose to do, and there's also an editable content area down below, where you might want to say something about how you handle their information. You can also put images here as well. But what I'm going to show you is with the content blocks, there's something cool you can do here. If you deselect Display Separate Column, it's going to display this stacked on top of each other, just like it will in the mobile view anyway. So now you've got a form, you've got information below it that you can add, and you've got information above it that you can add. So let's leave it this way because this looks nice. You have the opacity for the background, so you can change this as well. You can square off the social media profile images. And what we're talking about is right here. You can make these circle or square. For the shell, you can change the radius, and what you can notice, like look up here as I change this. Right now it's set to 0, but you can make it more rounded. Now you can see the corners of things are just more rounded.
Yeah.
And of course you can change the fonts. The buttons, there's a lot you can do. You can change the hover colors of a button, the text color, the fonts, the alignment, so the button can move here or here. You can add a border to your button and change the border width. And you can even add shading to it. So let's edit the form. You can have a lot of fun with your form. Like right now we have transparent backgrounds, but when they hover, you've got a different color. So you can change the background color, the border thickness. So let's change this to 1, make it a little thinner line. You can see now it's just a little more streamlined. You can change the label so it appears above the fields. See how the field labels are inside? This just gives you a different look.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And you can change your call to action button text down here. So edit configuration. This is your widget settings. So remember I mentioned that you can have a button that appears. There's several ways to deploy as a widget. You can have this as an iframe that's embedded anywhere on your page. You can have this as a pop-up. So for example, if somebody tries to exit your website, this will pop up and say, hey, do you want to engage with this campaign? You can have it as a tab. And that's what this is. This is the tab. So a tab would just be a little sticky tab on the right side of your screen, which would have whatever text you want. And just note that whatever you have as the shell color, that is going to be the color of the tab. And the tabs are nice because no matter how long your web page is, it's always going to stay right where you specify. I like sticky tabs the best because they're the least intrusive, and you can still do some cool things with them. And by that, what I mean is, here's where you position it on the page. You can have it on the right, left, or bottom of the page, orient them differently. But when you get down here, you can really customize them. So let's open the tab automatically. So on the first visit to your website, you can have it delay the tab opening and then auto close. So what that means is your tab won't just sit there and wait for somebody to click. You can make it so after maybe 5 seconds on your page, if they haven't bounced, then you might want to engage them because they're obviously interested in your content. So what would happen is the tab would slide open, and you would see your contest right there on the page. And after a couple seconds, it would slide back close automatically. So it's kind of a peekaboo saying, "Hey, look at me, and I'm here if you need to use me."
Yeah.
You can also, and that's what you would use the timing for. You can also use on-page exit intent. So as soon as they try to leave, it would slide out. Say, "Hey, did you forget to check me out?" So that's how that works with the sticky tab. Pop-up, very, very similar. With the pop-up, you can have almost exactly the same settings, but you can also make it fly in from the left and right. And you never want to forget to set the size. It's always going to default to the smallest possible size, but look at your page. Whatever looks best on your page is what you would want to do. And the button, you can have a different button image, whatever you want. If somebody clicks on that, it's going to trigger the pop-up, and then they can submit to the campaign, and then it goes away. Advanced settings. So we have SEO tags here. You can change, it takes a guess at what you want to use for your SEO, but you can change that for your page title, description, and keywords. If you're using retargeting like AdRoll, you've got 2 different areas here.
Okay.
So what all campaign screens are is you can add whatever tracking pixel you want or tracking JavaScript within this field. It will fire that pixel on every page of your campaign. It will also fire a pixel only after a successful submission. So if you have somebody that comes to the campaign but ends up not submitting, it can retarget them and encourage them with a link back to the campaign to come back and complete their submission. That's really good for content marketing.
Okay.
So add CSS. Here you can add any kind of CSS you want. And remember, we grabbed one of the classes from the custom CSS, copied that to my clipboard. So you can add that here and make any change you want. So this is a good way. If it's not in our relatively extensive settings area, you can probably find it in that custom CSS section and make that change. CSS section. So import settings from template. Also pull in from, we've got some defaults already. So let's see here. I need to select a button image. Instead of using the button widget, for the purposes of this training, I am just going to do a sticky tab. So let's save that. And now let's select a template. So we have some preset templates to get you started. So I'm just going to choose modern here. And I'm going to import both the content blocks and the style settings. Just keep in mind, this just wiped out all the settings that I had. So you can import something new. You can also import settings from a campaign that you've run in the past, just to save yourself some time. And you can import everything, or like maybe you only want to import the SEO. You could just select this. So you could really custom tailor what you're importing. And then you would select from the campaign that you'd previously created. Obviously, we do a lot of testing here. We have a lot of campaigns.
So something that caught my eye too, when you were on, I believe it was the entry screen, and you you were talking about the submit button. There were 2 different submit buttons. One was just upload, and then one was upload via mobile. What's the difference between the 2, and why do you need both of them? And are they editable?
It depends on the campaign. Okay. On a contest, it's not editable because there's a lot of JavaScript behind the scenes. For example, if you're on a mobile device, it's not going to show this button, the submit via mobile. because what the submit via mobile does is it gives you a way to transfer the campaign to your phone using a QR code or a shortened link that you can either send to yourself or just type into your phone. And if you're on a cell phone, that wouldn't make sense. So it kind of customizes which one appears, and upload is so appropriate for what you're expecting people to do. This one is static.
Yeah. Okay.
On just about all the other campaigns, you can customize that, but for the photo and the video contests, we use upload.
Okay.
Because we want to make sure people understand what's going to happen when they click it. That we're actually going to take a picture off of their device and move it to our server. Okay.
Okay. Yep.
So we've created our campaign. I'm going to save that and close it. Now I'm going to go to the next screen, which is social share, and you can always go back to previous steps. So this is what people are going to share when they submit to your campaign and click share. So you can have those shared links go back to the microsite, which is what I recommend for contests, because generally people are going to be sharing, hey, go vote for mine. You wouldn't want to send them to your website, right? You would want to send them somewhere where they can vote. So you can send them to the Facebook tab if you are deploying this on your Facebook page, or if you are just using the microsite, you can have it go there as well. Personally, I prefer microsite because Facebook tabs are just, if it depends on if they're using an app, a Facebook app to view Facebook, if they're using, different devices.
Mobile
Facebook
device.
is always changing how they allow apps to be displayed within the tabs. So within this, you can add a coupon, similarly to what we did on the share button side. So whatever they comment on, you can add to that and say, hey, by the way, take 20% off your first order, and add a coupon. And that would go up here. So as you can see, whatever their message is, view coupon, and it would have a link. You can override account moderation settings, and we'll go over moderation soon. So when people submit this, there's different ways that you can approve it. One click is the most popular, which is where you would just click once on your mobile phone and it approves it, whoever the moderator is. You can disable moderation and post immediately for things like the sign-up campaign. This is the way it automatically works. So also publish approved submissions to your social accounts. This is pretty cool for photo and video contests. You might want to have it automatically post to your corporate accounts. And what it does here, so I can add more test accounts, every account that's here, it's going to post submissions once they're approved there as well. So it'll say something like, John Taylor submitted a photo, and it will show their photo, and it will post that automatically on your account. I can also customize what the share looks like, just like with all of our other share preview and edit sections. And then I'm going to, one thing I want to show you is within Twitter, you have a little bit of flexibility here. You can add a contest hashtag. So you might want to say, cool photo or something like that. And it's going to add that hashtag to whatever comment they put on there. That way people can follow the contest with their hashtag, or you might have an analytics tool that uses hashtags to follow it. That's a great way to follow all your tweets for the contest. Excuse me. Okay, so please enter coupon URL. We try to keep you honest if you make a selection and don't finish it. So I selected add a coupon, but I didn't put a link in here, so I'm going to deselect that. Okay, so now that we've deployed, we have a number of different ways we can add this contest to our site or our other marketing. This is your custom microsite link. So this is what you would drive people to on mobile and desktop for the full page campaign. The widget, there's two types of widgets. It gives you iframe code, and it actually includes your iframe width and height too. So you literally just paste this wherever you want it to appear within a web page, and the iframe will format nicely. You can also have the JavaScript widget. In this case, we selected the sticky tab. So if I paste this anywhere within the HTML web page, preferably just before the closing of the head tag, this will show your sticky page on the tab, or sticky tab on the page, excuse me. And I can also add this tab to a fan page by selecting the fan page that's attached to my account, adding a tab name, selecting an image, and of course you can customize your own image and upload that. I might say photo contest, your vote win, and then I can click this button that's going to actually go out and push the contest there, and it'll be done. Once I've done that, I can publish to social media if you want to push the contest out to all of your social channels, and it's automatically going to populate a published message with all the right links. So you would just post this as you normally would, or schedule it out.
Awesome.
Any questions about that?
No.
All right. So one thing I want to jump to now is let's go through how to approve. I'm going to leave this page without posting that. So once people start submitting photos and videos, you need to approve them, and that's done in this area. So customer videos, photos, text posts, and employee posts are here. So these are different videos. So our photo contests, they're all going to come through right here. And here's photo 1 and photo 2.
This is kind of what we talked about yesterday too, with you can have an email sent to approve, and if not approved within an hour, it automatically approves, and this is where they go?
Yes.
Okay.
If you have it set to auto approve, then it would automatically approve it for you. But you can see like the status of all these are approved. If it wasn't approved, I could highlight it and then click approve, or I could delete it. There's another feature here. Like this is the profile image that we grabbed when they shared to social and authenticated. You can actually change the profile image, and it will pull all the different profile images that we can collect from this particular user. Now, this is a test account, so we've got a bunch of strange accounts in there. So let's see here. The campaign, this is interesting here. If you have multiple campaigns, you can have it appear, if you really like the photo, for example, that they submit, you can have it appear on different campaigns as well. And now this photo will appear on all 3 of these campaigns. So you're kind of curating this user-generated content.
With changing the profile image, can you do that even after you approve a submission?
Yes, you can.
Okay.
And our social CRM, which I'm going to jump into unless you have more questions about approving.
No, I'm good.
Because we didn't have time yesterday to go through this. I want to show you. So when you click contact, this is our social CRM. So just to give you an idea, this is that one test user. This is an overview of this contact, but if you really want to get the details, you can click on their name. And in our social CRM, it's going to show you all the activity that this person has engaged with on your site.
Awesome.
So it's going to show them like all of their referral activity, all of their engagement activity. This is a bad example to use. Let me see if I've got, let's take this one. These are all test users, but there should be some more activity. So if they click on a link in any of your social posts, it would show that here, just so you can get a really clear picture of what it is that this person's interested in. So this is great for sales, and they can see the trend over time. You can have a link to their particular account, and this will take you directly to their social account. And it tells you if they've bought or if they've downloaded a white paper. They would, like this person's a prospect. If they had downloaded a white paper, it would call them a lead. If they had purchased on your site, it will automatically change them to a customer. And you can add internal notes, and you can assign it to a salesperson.
Okay.
So getting back to our campaigns, what I want to do now is, let's say I've got the campaigns underway, and I want to manage it. So when I select, let's take this contest here. A new option will appear here, which is Contest Console. So if I click that, this will allow me to manage all my contests. And right now we're on the Moen contest. So it gives you some tips here on how to do this, but here are each of the entries to this video contest. I can click here and download the video MP4 file. I can export the participant list as a CSV file. I can view the voter IP addresses. ban the IP addresses, and declare a winner. So before I declare a winner, I'm going to check out this voter's IP addresses. And this is a test, so there weren't any votes. But if there were, it shows you the IP address, the cookie ID,
Okay.
the date and time, the browser, country, city, what company they worked for. It gives you a lot of information about the people that
Yeah.
voted. And you might have hundreds of votes here. So what happens is if it detects fraud, it's going to move it to the not counted folder. And you can move things manually to the not counted folder. But the important thing here is you're looking for fraud. Our system should detect it and let you know. But if you see something like, let's say there's, 3 IP addresses that are the same within, a second of each other, what you could do is grab that IP address and then enter it here. Let's ban that IP. Just paste in the IP address here and purge and block. What's going to happen is all of your contests now, past, and forever, those votes will no longer count. I move them all to the not counted folder.
If you have someone that is banned and you know without a doubt that they should not have been, can you or not banned but not counted, can you move them from the uncounted list to the counted?
Yes, you
so
can.
I know you
would just
Okay.
So if you did that here, it would move them from this folder to this folder. So you would select
Yep.
the vote and then say move to counted.
Oh, okay, I see.
So any questions about this section?
Nope.
Great. So you're now a contest expert. And there's also a sweepstakes console and there's a referral rewards console, but they all work very similarly. So I'm not going to go through each one of those. What I want to jump into is some of the true advanced capabilities of Sociamonials, because once you have a bunch of different campaigns, you can sort of tie them together in different ways. So I'm going to jump into display groups. If you want to curate content where you've got these great images that are submitted to these different campaigns, but they might have certain similarities, you can kind of combine these campaigns and where the submissions are displayed. So here's a great example of that. Let's say you have a video testimonial campaign on every page of your store, and you're trying to sell an iPhone, and you have a separate page for the white one, separate page for the gray one. What you can do is have a separate campaign for each one of those pages, but anybody who submits a testimonial to either one, you want to appear on both of them. What I would do is just call this the iPhone group, and I would select those 2 campaigns and then create the group. Now what's going to happen is anytime somebody submits to one, it will also automatically appear on the other one.
Oh, awesome.
Any questions about that?
No.
Now I'm going to jump into the series. So this is kind of like marketing automation in real time, and you can piece together a number of different campaigns in a chain, or you can have them trigger in different ways. So the different types of series we have, and I'm just going to create a new one. We have a triggered series, a scheduled series, and a split test series. Let's say I have 5 different campaigns, and they're all very similar, but they have different characteristics. Like maybe I want to see which color or font works better, which call to action or offer works better. I can have up to 5 different variations, and it will automatically roll through those. So the first visitor to the campaign will be served one, the next visitor will be served the next, the third visitor will be served the next, and it goes on, and it will display them in equal numbers so you can figure out which one works best. And it's pretty simple. You just go down the list and add as many as you want. So I can have a split test between the 2 and then create that series. And what I would do at this point is I would save and deploy the series. So instead of deploying the code that you got from the original campaign, you would deploy this. So I'm going to click Save and Deploy. See how we get a whole new set of deploy code? So I would add this to my fan page instead of the original campaign. That way, even on your Facebook fan page, believe it or not, it's going to do split testing for you.
Oh, okay.
So every visitor might see something slightly different. And the results of this are going to be in your reports for that campaign. It will show you the side-by-side comparison so you can see which one won. A scheduled series is basically, let's say I've got a monthly campaign that I want to run, and I want to program it out for the whole year. I can have this campaign run from January 1st to the 31st. Then I can have another campaign automatically switch over, and maybe that one runs on the next month. And it just saves you time if you have a standard monthly campaign that you run. And it will run through all of your campaigns for the year automatically.
Okay.
The triggered series is my favorite. And the way this works is, you don't want to keep giving people the same information on your website every time they come. If they engage with your website, it's nice to have something dynamic where the next time they visit, they're greeted with something different. So let's say you're a content marketer and you've got a series of 10 white papers. You probably have 10 white paper download forms that you've created with Sociamonials. So what I can do is I can call this this is my white paper series. Now I can have my first white paper campaign here, my next white paper here, all the way through 10 of them. And what happens is when I deploy this code, if somebody submits to the campaign, meaning that they download a white paper and submit, the next time they come back, it's going to encourage them to download the next white paper in the series instead of asking them for the next year to do the same thing that they've already done a year ago. So what the idea is, it's continued engagement. Every time they come to their site, they're getting something fresh. And you can get really creative with these. Like, think about your marketing funnel. You can start with top of the funnel activities, like something like, check out our email newsletter. But once they've signed up for your newsletter, which a lot of people do, wouldn't it be nice if the next time they came, it deepens the engagement, you're moving them down the funnel, then ask them to download a white paper. Maybe the third time you ask them to check out your testimonials because you're trying to get them towards the bottom of the funnel, giving them content that's more appropriate for their level of engagement. And then once they become a customer, down the road, then you might start including contests and things like that. So that's a great way to manage your funnel. So that is the series.
Yeah.
Any questions about that?
No. It's awesome. Not right now. I don't have any questions.
Cool. Okay, well, I'm going to encourage you to just play around with the reporting because there are so many things you could do with the reports. There are campaign-specific reports, even share button reports, because our share buttons are unique in that they report on revenue. And there are video reports for all of your different videos. It will give you quite a bit of information on how those videos are performing across all the channels, including YouTube, because all of our submitted videos are uploaded to your YouTube channel. So I'm running a video report right now on all dates, so it's going back a couple of years. So just to give you an example, it'll actually show you the video and give you some stats on it. And if I click on the bar, it actually plays the video.
Oh, nice.
Here's your over time trend, and down here you've got your KPIs. So videos that were played on your Sociamonials video gallery appear here, any revenue you've generated from your videos. And it's important to note that you can change the reporting to view through or not view through. And what that means is either click through or view through. So if somebody watches the video on your web page, on your store page, for example, like a testimonial, and then they purchase, it will attribute the purchase to the videos that were watched. So these are the top 5 videos, and it shows the top 5 based on most revenue, leads. So you might want to include the ones with the most revenue on emails that you're sending out, for example.
Yeah.
And if you found a video like that, you might choose to go over here to your approved videos where you're curating your video content. You can click here and then embed it in your email.
Oh, okay.
So it's going to give you, you can customize the thumbnail size. Click here. All you have to do is copy it and paste it into your email. And it will automatically, this thumbnail will automatically appear in the email.
Okay.
So the last report I want to go through is the campaign report. So you can do some different things here, and you can also switch over to the grid view, which gives you more detail. But this is going to give you a more visual view of like your overall campaigns, how they're doing, plus individual campaigns. So I can choose a specific campaign to run a report on, or just all of them. And you can add metrics here, like how many leads did it generate and how much revenue did the campaign generate. All of your KPIs are down below, including your Pinterest. So one other report, let's see, let's check out the overview report because this is really powerful. So I'm going to run this for all dates. Once you're really using Sociamonials to its fullest, like you've got share buttons out there, you're using it to post to social, and you're using it for your campaigns and your content marketing, this is where the power really comes through, is on this one chart that shows you everything that's happening with social. So as you can see here, this is showing me, what is Facebook doing for me for a specific KPI. So I've got a date I can choose. I can also choose a KPI. So the first thing you want to do is pick your KPI. If I'm curious about what is social doing for revenue, this is a breakdown of all revenue generating activities. So as you can see, Twitter is driving 50% of my revenue. So I might choose to go and advertise on Twitter because my Twitter audience is doing a great job. Source, are my campaigns, my published messages, or my share buttons driving the most revenue? Which types of campaigns are driving the most revenue?
Nice.
Is it text, video, or photo as a media type that's working for my company? Link and video. Remember, with the message types, when you're publishing to social, there's either a link type, a video type, or a photo type. And this will show you which ones are generating the most revenue. User posts, so if you have 10 different users on your team, it will show you which one of them on their social posts are bringing in the most revenue as well. And you can look at this as an average or a total. So that concludes the advanced training. Do you have any last-minute questions?
No. The reports look awesome, though.
I appreciate the feedback.
So, yeah, no problem.
I guess go be awesome at social and enjoy.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.